Hello, this is Engineering Statistics and Linear Algebra 18 EC 44, Module 4, Lecture 13, Part 2. We are discussing the Gram-Schmidt process. Now, the Gram-Schmidt process is used to make the vectors orthonormal to each other. That is, if we are given vectors which are A, B, C, and we want them to be in the form of orthonormal vectors, these are not orthonormal vectors. We want to convert them into the orthonormal vectors. Then what do we do? So there's no problem with Q1. Q1 can be in the same direction as A, or A can be in the same direction as Q1, right? Q1 can be fixed in the same direction as A because there's nothing, no other basis for it. It can go in the direction of A. Q1 can go in the direction of A. So for that, what we do is, to make it orthonormal, we divide A by its, so to say, length, right? So Q1 is equal to A by the length of A. That becomes a unit vector. So now the second vector Q2 should be represented, no, which is orthogonal to Q1. Q2, we should write Q2, or rather we should convert B in the form of Q2, where Q2 is orthogonal to Q1. So now this B can be having this, what you call B, can have a component in the same direction as Q1 or A, right? And also it might have a component in the Q2. So now the second vector Q2 has to be orthogonal to Q1. If the second vector B has any component in the direction of Q1, if the B has a component in the direction of Q1, that has to be removed or subtracted from the B, right? So if the second vector B has any component in the direction of Q1, that component has to be subtracted. So that's what we are trying to do over here. What we are trying to do is, if B has a component in Q1, then we take Q1 transpose B multiplied by Q1. And this component is in the direction of the Q1. And that has to be removed from B, because B can always be represented as a what you call component in the direction of Q1 and another component which is orthogonal to it. So if you remove the what you call component which is in the same direction, what we are left with is a orthogonal component, and that we call it as capital B. Capital B is small b minus Q1 transpose B Q1. Then once we do that, then we take the what you call divide the length of this B with B itself, and we'll get Q2. Q2 is equal to B by the length of B. Having found the second vector, we go for the third component, that is the third orthogonal direction starts with C. Now C will again will not be there in the Q1, Q2 plane, right? Which is again not in the plane of A and B, but it might have a component in Q1, Q2, in the Q1, Q2 plane. So from C, we should remove the what you call component which is there in Q1 and the component in Q2, so that we'll just get an orthogonal component to both Q1, Q2. So for that, we just need to what you call the third vector, which just corresponds to capital C is equal to C minus the component which is in Q1 direction is to be removed here, and the component which is there in the direction of Q2 is to be removed here. So once having found C, we just divide this capital C by the length of this capital C to get the third what you call orthogonal component Q3. So this process is to be repeated on and on, so that we finish, we get all the different orthogonal components. So this is the idea on the whole, which corresponds to the Gram-Schmidt process, to subtract from every new vector its components in the directions that are already settled. So let us take an example of this. We have A, B, C, right? We have A, B, C. Now, these might not be orthogonal to each other. These might not be orthogonal to each other. So if they are not orthogonal to each other, then we need to represent them in the form of orthogonal vectors. So first of all, when we talk about the orthonormal component, Q1, Q2, Q3 are, they might be orthogonal, they might not be orthonormal. So we need to convert them into the orthonormal components. So the value of A is this. So Q1 will be A divided by the magnitude of this A. Q1 will be in the same direction as A, but because it is not orthonormal, we just what you call divide this by the what you call length of A. So length of A is 1 square plus 0 square plus 1 square root of 1 square plus 0 square plus 1 square, that is root 2. So you should divide this A by root 2 so that we'll get this as Q1. So Q1 will be 1 by root 2, 0, 1 by root 2. So having found Q1, then we try to go for finding Q2. So Q2, we might have a component in the A direction, or rather in the Q1 direction. And that component has to be removed from B so that we get only the orthogonal component to Q1. And that becomes the, orthogonal component in the Q2 direction. So to find Q2, we subtract from the second vector its component in the first direction. So we will get capital P is equal to small b minus Q1T B Q1, and B is 1, 0, 0. Then Q1 transpose B. Q1 is this. If you take the transpose of this and then you multiply with the B value, which is 1, 0, 0, take the transpose of this and multiply with this, we'll get just 1 by root 2 into 1 plus 0 into 0 plus 1 by root 2 into 0, and that we'll get it as just 1 by root 2. So that 1 by root 2 is written over here, and Q1 is reproduced as it is from here. So Q1 is reproduced as it is from here. So if you again simplify this, that is 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 will become half. 1 by root 2 into 0 will be 0. 1 by root 2 into 1 by root 2 will be half. So 1 minus half will become plus half. 0 minus 0 will be 0. 0 minus of half will be the value minus half. So thus we will get this value as the B. Now this B should be divided by again the length of the B so that we will get the value which corresponds to Q2. So Q2 will be B divided by its length to produce the unit vector, which is 1 by root 2. 0 minus 1 by root 2. So having found Q2, we need to find Q3. And to find Q3, we should subtract from small c its component along both Q1 and Q2. And that is done by C is equal to C minus Q1 transpose C Q1 minus Q2 transpose C Q2. And that will be C is written directly from here. And the value of Q1 transpose C will be Q1 is this, transpose of this multiplied by C will just give us 1 by root 2 into 2, that is root 2 itself. This into this will be 0, this into this will be 0. So therefore our Q1 transpose C will be just equal to the value which is equal to root 2, and that is written over here. Then Q1 itself is there here, that is to be written. Then Q2 transpose C. Q2 is this, take the transpose of this 1 by root 2, 0 minus 1 by root 2, multiply it by the value of small c. Small c is written as 2, 1, 0, that is to be multiplied. Then again you will get the value root 2. That multiplied by the value of Q2, Q2 is again this itself. So if you simplify this overall, you will get 0, 1, 0 as the value of C. So this is already a vector, so it is in Q3. So you can see that the magnitude of this is equal to 1. So therefore, the Q3 will be equal to C by the length of the C. So length of C is 0 square plus 1 square plus 0 square, the root of that, that is 1 itself. So that's why, since this is already a unit vector, this has to represent Q3 itself. So the final answer is the Q1 1 by root 2 0 1 by root 2 1 by root 2 0 minus 1 by root 2 0 1 0. Now if the columns are the ones which correspond to the orthonormal, we also see that the rows are also orthonormal. If you just square this and square this and add, you'll get, take the root, again take the root, then you'll get the value equal to 1. If you just square and add itself, you'll get the value 1. Root of 1 is always 1. Again, same thing here and same thing here. So if the columns are what you call orthonormal, the rows also will be orthonormal. That is what we have seen in the last unit. So the Gram-Schmidt process, just, we are just trying to represent the same thing in a, closed form. Gram-Schmidt process starts with the independent vectors A1 to An and ends with the orthonormal vectors Q1 to Qn. At step J, it subtracts from Aj its components in the direction Q1 dot 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 Qj minus 1 that are already settled, that are already found. Settled just means found. Given by Aj equal to Aj minus Q1 transpose Aj Q1 minus dot 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 minus Qj minus 1 transpose Aj Qj minus 1. And then Qj is the unit vector, that is this divided by its length, Aj divided by the length of Aj. So that's the process of converting a set of, independent vectors which might not be orthonormal to a set of orthonormal vectors which are Q1 to Qn. Then we come to the factorization A equal to QR. This is quite important because this is same as LU. A is equal to LU we have. Now A is equal to QR is also another term. So we started with a matrix A whose columns were A, B, C. We ended with a matrix Q whose columns are Q1, Q2, Q3. You can write A, B, C, or might be A1, A2, A3, or X1, X2, X3, whatever you want. A1, A2, A3 might be better. So what is the relationship between those two matrices? The matrices A and Q are m by n. Both A and Q are m by n when the n vectors are in n-dimensional space, and there has to be a third matrix that connects them, and that matrix is generally the R. So the idea is to write A's as A's, or you can say ABC as combination of the Q's. So that's why I said it would be better to write A1, A2, A3. At that time, we'll have A's as A1, A2, A3. So we can try to write first A as Q1 transpose A Q1, A as Q1 transpose A Q1. So first Q1 can be considered in the same direction as A. Then we can try to write this as like this. Then the vector B is a combination of the orthonormal Q1 and Q2, and the combination can be written as B is equal to Q1 transpose B Q1 plus Q2 transpose B Q2. So every vector in the plane is the sum of its Q1 and Q2 component. Similarly, C is the sum of its Q1, Q2, Q3 component, that is C is equal to Q1 transpose C Q1 plus Q2 transpose C Q2 plus Q3 transpose C Q3. So this and this can be written this and this. A equal to this, B equal to this, C equal to this can be written in the form of a matrix, and that matrix is this. Okay. So we have Q1 transpose A over here. Then, Q1 transpose B over here, Q2 transpose B over here, and these three terms, Q1 transpose C, Q2 transpose C, Q3 transpose C are in the third column. And naturally, because they are multiplied by Q1, Q2, and Q3, we are writing here Q1, Q2, Q3 multiplied by this. So this is a upper triangular matrix. If you multiply this with this, you are going to get the value of A. And this is the Q matrix, and this is known as the R matrix, which is the upper triangular matrix. So in our problem, we can just try to find out what that is. So A is, the values of A, B, C, 101, 100, 210, whatever values of A, B, C we have taken, or A1, A2, A3 which we have taken, and we have found the value of the Q and correspondingly the value of R. So R off diagonal matrix other than, or rather, first let us consider the diagonal matrix. The diagonal matrix are, always the, what you call, lengths of A, B, C are on the diagonals of R. Lengths of small a, B, C are on the diagonal of R. So these are lengths of A, B, and C. So we are writing this here. Then the off diagonal entries of R are the numbers, which just corresponds to Q1 transpose B, that is 1 by root 2. Q1 transpose C is equal to Q2 transpose C, again, which is equal to root 2. So this we have written over here as 1 by root 2, and these two as written, this is written as 1 by root 2, and these two are written as root 2 itself. So thus we get the value of Q. So the orthonormal, so this we already said, see that the lengths of A, B, C are on the diagonal of R. So we have to just write the lengths of A, B, C over here, and then we have to find these three elements from which are formed like this. So the orthonormal vectors Q1, Q2, Q3, which are the whole object of orthogonalization, are in the first factor Q, and that is what it means over here. So every m by n matrix with independent columns can be factored into A equal to QR. The columns of Q are orthonormal, and R is the upper triangular and invertible matrix. When m is equal to n, all matrices are square and Q becomes a orthogonal matrix. If m is not equal to n, Q is not a orthogonal matrix. So orthogonalization simplifies the least square problem Ax equal to B. The normal equations are still correct, but ATA becomes easier. ATA is, you can just write A as RQ. So AT as, QR, AT as QR, if you write, then it will become R transpose Q transpose is equal to A transpose, and A is written as it is. And this Q transpose Q is equal to I, and therefore this will be equal to R transpose R. So A transpose A is equal to R transpose R. The fundamental equation A transpose A x hat is equal to A transpose B simplifies to a triangular system, which is A triangular R x hat equal to R triangle R transpose Q transpose B. R transpose Q transpose B. So A transpose is nothing but R transpose Q transpose. A transpose A we have written here as R transpose R, and that is what is written over here. R, that means it is equal to R x hat is equal to, so R transpose here and R transpose here will go. So we are just left with R x hat is equal to Q transpose B. So instead of solving Q R x equal to B, which can't be done, we solve R x equal to QTB, which is just back substitution because R is triangular. So this finishes the Gram-Schmidt process. So the real cost is m square operations of Gram-Schmidt, which are needed to find Q and R in the first place. So these are just concerned with how many number of multiplications are there. So this we need not bother much about it. We'll study more of it in the signal processing. Thank you.